Today you will learn about Gothic architecture. Gothic architecture flourished during the 11th and 12th centuries in Europe. Cathedrals became the religious and cultural centers of cities and also centers of learning. The unity of the design became the essential characteristic of Gothic architecture. The most common types of buildings that are Gothic include cathedrals, abbeys, churches, castles, town halls, and universities. Many elements of Gothic architecture are tall to emphasize height to create a relationship with the heavens. Gothic architects develop a system to make the walls thinner and taller. So a lot of Gothic architectures have tall ceilings in order to represent that relationship with the heavens, because a lot of their buildings are formed in religious or church settings. So in order to make these tall ceilings, they had to develop a system to make the walls thinner and resulting in them being taller. Some key elements in Gothic architecture. So these are some things that you can point out that will automatically tell you that it is a Gothic building. So a cruciform layout, a flying buttress, rose windows, stained glass, fan vaults, ogival arches, and gargoyles and grotesques. We're going to look at the cruciform layout first. The cruciform design was popular in early Christian architecture, but it reached an even greater popularity during the Gothic period. The cruciform layout includes an east end that contained an altar. It contained a north and south transepts, or arms that reached out from the east end. And it had a long central nave. Rose windows. Rose windows were stained glass windows that were placed over the main portal. They are round in design and large in scale. Stained glass. Stained glass was used during this period to provide a visual narrative for biblical stories, the life of Christ, and church teachings. Again, a lot of these buildings were in religious settings, so that makes sense that their images were tied to that as well. The windows, combined with the height of the ceiling, referred to heaven for the Christians who visited the churches. Ogival arches. These arches come to a point. They are not only common in Gothic architecture, but they are also common in Islamic architecture as well. So you can see how these arches come to a point at the top instead of being rounded out. A fan vault. Fan vaults are vaults that have ribs and are equal in size and distance. They are more common in English architecture. So the vault is a vaulted ceiling. So it comes up to a vault. It says that they have ribs. So these are these intricate details within here that look like ribs. A flying buttress. Flying buttresses were employed to help support the walls. Using buttresses allowed the architects to make thinner and higher walls. They gave additional support. So this right here is a flying buttress, and it helped to support the wall and the structure of the building. Here's some examples of flying buttresses on actual buildings. So they are not always small. They can be large too. Gargoyles and grotesques. Gargoyles are carved sculptures that have a pipe inserted to move water away from the roof. Grotesques are sculptures that appear on the side of Gothic builds that decorate it. They differ from gargoyles because they do not have pipes and do not drain water. So gargoyles are probably not what you have always thought them to be. So the gargoyles are kind of like a draining system for the building. Grotesques are purely decorative. The end.